Joining us now is Bill Alexander. He's the CEO of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund that hosts the beautiful vigil that we're seeing where Tom is today in D.C. Thank you for being with us. As lawmakers look for ways to better protect our law enforcement across the country, what is the greatest need right now?
I've said before, and I try to repeat it to anyone who will listen. I think the greatest need is that everyone who is in some position of power, particularly our elected leaders, need to stand up and use their voice to say to the American public that law enforcement has been and continues to be just an overwhelming force for good, that the profession writ large is honorable, and that the men and women who are serving in that profession are willing to sacrifice their lives on behalf of us. And the least that we can do as citizens of this great country is to say to them very personally, very heartfelt, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being willing and able to put your life on the line for us.
They defend us. It's our chance to defend them. The names, Bill, of more than 24,000 fallen officers are etched on that memorial wall in Washington, D.C. Tell us more about this annual event and how you all work to honor each and every one of their legacies.
I'm a retired police officer myself. I know more than a dozen men whose names are on what we view as very sacred walls every single year. Tragically, in terms of the defense of our democracy, there's a cost to that defense, and that cost is measured every single year in hundreds of lives of men and women in uniform out there trying to protect our streets. And so every single year we here at the Memorial Fund honor those names most recently added to, again, what we view as very sacred walls. Last night we had what was the 36th annual candlelight vigil, where we read the names of the 282 heroes whose names were most recently added to our walls. And this is I would argue, a tentpole part of the broad events across Police Week, where all of us who have served and are serving in the profession, and what I might argue is all of us who are lucky enough to call this country home, have some responsibility to remember the stories of these heroes and to remember their names for all time.
And what does it mean? We heard from a mother a moment ago who lost her son, who was a police officer, to these families, to be there to honor their loved ones and their legacy. Talk about the specialness of that moment.
It means quite a bit. It's almost impossible to put into words. Of course, during the ceremony, you can actually feel the emotion coursing through the air. It really is, I might argue, an absolutely integral part of the healing process for the survivors, the coworkers, the peers, the friends, the family of the men and women who have died in the line of duty. Not that the family members come out of that ceremony healed, but I am convinced that it is part of their healing journey, allowing them to hear the names of their loved ones read aloud, allowing them to recognize that hopefully the country is pausing momentarily with them to help remember and honor their loved one's sacrifice.
We can always do more, Bill, but what would you say to people who want to be part of the movement and the message to protect law enforcement and also to honor them? And how can they contribute, whether it's their time or resources?
Well, first of all, of course, we are a nonprofit ourselves. We exist to honor the fallen and try to tell their story. And our organization, since its inception, has existed entirely on donations. We do not accept a single dollar from the federal, state, or local government. And we are not alone in that fight. Concerns of police survivors, fraternal order police, police unity tour, and on down the line. There are so many in the law enforcement field who are trying to advocate on behalf of what I still see as my profession. But for my part, what I would say is there's a quote in the southwest corner of our memorial that from then President Bush in 1991, carved on these walls is the story of America, of a continuing quest to preserve both democracy and decency, and to protect a national treasure we call the American dream. There's a tragic cost to protecting that democracy every single year, again, measured in hundreds of lives of the men and women in uniform who are dying for us. I say to the American public, the least all of us can do, find your local police officer, stop him or her, say thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being willing to put your life on the line for me and my family.
Don't miss an opportunity to show that appreciation and gratitude. Bill, you are a wonderful messenger of an important and powerful message, honoring our law enforcement today and every day. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.